Hey guys, it's Mark from The Abstract. Today we're going to have a really short video to discuss the chromatic scale that you just read about. The chromatic scale is a very unique scale. You don't really hear the chromatic scale used in a lot of popular music today. It's more or less a scale that provides the framework for other scales in the existence of music. There's a lot of scales, and every scale that we know comes from this. Let me demonstrate what the chromatic scale is. It's a scale that is made up of all equal half steps. A half step is the distance from one note to another. And a half step designates a minor step from one note to the next. You don't have to travel very far to get a minor second or a half step. Each of those terms work. As you can see, each of these notes in this piano roll down here are made up of equal half steps. You can just see it. It looks like a very clean ladder from start to finish. Everything looks equal from one note to the next, and that's because it is. The distance between the first note and the second note is a half step. Between the third and the fourth note is a half step. And between the sixth and the seventh note even. All of these notes are half steps. Let me play you the chromatic scale. I'm going to slow down the tempo for you real quick to 85 just so we can take in the scale. Here we go. So other than visually looking like it's made up of equal steps, it sounds like it's made up of equal steps. Every note is traveling the same distance. From C to C sharp is a half step. From D to D sharp is a half step. Even if we were to travel backwards, this is G. If we were to go from G to F sharp, it's also a half step. So let me now turn over to the keyboard so you can see me play the chromatic scale in the key of C. Here we go. So this is C3, and our goal is to travel to C4. Boom. And let's use the chromatic scale to do it. Now let's do it in reverse. So now let me play these notes together as an interval, and we'll discuss what an interval is in a later lesson. But for now, an interval is the relationship between two notes. The relationship between the first two notes, C and C sharp, is a half step. And if we play them together, they'll sound like this. A very awkward, crunchy sound. Well, the cool thing is that every relationship between every note that is next to each other has the same sort of crunch. Just like C to C sharp, if you were to play D to D sharp, it's the same sort of crunch. Or E to F. Or G to G sharp. Or B to C. So you hear the relationship between all the notes as being a half step. It sounds very crunchy. It sounds very dissonant. And we'll learn about what dissonance is in a later lesson as well. So for now, just take this in and stay tuned for the next lesson.